Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the AT2. It's a tier 5 British tank destroyer. It hasn't got a turret. It's just a casement with a gun pointing forward. It's located on the eastbourne of Safe Haven, and it's under the command of dealer of MRALM. Well, there's two guns that you can actually mount on the AT2. One of them is the 57mm 6-pounder, and the other is the 3.7 inch anti-tank gun, yes, or the howitzer, which is actually a dirt gun, really. The 6-pounder is actually capable of doing 75 alpha and penetrating 110mm of armor with standard AP. And with the premium rounds, the APCR, it'll go through 180mm of armor. It's got a very fast velocity. The reload's also quite quick. Standard reload 2.21, and he's got it to 2.26. I think that this is the first. He hasn't fully upgraded this AT2 yet, so it's not fully laid in, and the crew haven't gotten any advantages. And I'm pretty certain he probably doesn't have a rammer either. But it's actually a very fast firing gun. Now, it is actually one of the stages on the way to getting the tortoise. It was one of the designs they came up with, but they never actually built it. So we don't know the figures for this particular vehicle to actually know its armor specifications or gun specifications. Well, we've seen the gun on other tanks, but we don't know how it would actually perform because they never made a prototype, which is unfortunate in a sense. They started work on it in May of 1943. It was actually worked on by the Nuffield Mechanisations Limited, and the idea was actually to have a very good performance in terms of protection, so it would actually have huge amounts of armour at the front, so it would be virtually impenetrable, and a fast firing gun so it could deal out a lot of damage on the enemy. The only vulnerability really is that cupola can be penetrated from the front with the right shots in the right place, and it could also be penetrated from the rear, of course, as well. Oh, he's got shots on that Skoda now at distance, but you can see with 75 alpha it takes quite a few shots to take down the enemy. But even the 76mm on the Type 64 cannot pen him. They can see him, they just can't get through his armour. So they're bouncing rounds off his armour. They've given up, actually. I think they might start firing HE at him, but they're not likely to shoot him until, of course, they can get an easy shot on the rear. Even trying to hit this one on the sides is difficult, but if you know where to hit it on the sides, then you can get pens. Okay, there's the IKV. Can get a shot on him. It's quite a bit of dispersion. Oh, there, he got that one in. It's all about the fast fire rate, really. Oh, now he hit that one, but he didn't pin. Go for it. Yes! Nice, he got the kill. Now, there are some enemy tanks down below him in the tunnels. There's also a few out the back in the dockyard area. Now, you can probably go for those now that the enemy has actually been seen to over in the hills. Now, if you've been watching our channel, you'll note that Dealer had some really good games in an M10 RBFM. Okay, now he's auto aimed onto that BDR. And the BDR's got the stock gun, the 75mm. Because that's why he's not doing very much damage, and he's decided to pull back. Now he's trying to penetrate that Panzer IV. It's the Hydrostat, and he is going through the armour. Even with the spaced armour on the turret, he's getting the pens through the cupola at the back, which is, of course, the weak spot. Now, you should just drive down there and deal with the BDR, because, of course, he can pen that one. There are some other enemy tanks down there, including a bathtub who's off to the west. Okay, there's the BDR coming out. He just wiped out our M6, or was it? No, it's the ARMT who actually got him, and he's over in the west as well. right up in that little area next to the sea. Okay, that BDR is reluctant to go any further because, of course, if he does, chances are our KV-1S is going to get him. Get him there. There you go. He just poking out. You can get shells through that gap where the pipe is. Yeah, he knows that. Just can he squeeze the shell through? Yes, he does get one through with a low roll. And he's being spotted. Yeah, somebody was transmitting that information. And whilst we're up here, an enemy KV-2 is on his way towards our cap. Oh, and now we're being struck by that Type 64. So we'll turn towards him and see if we can wipe him out. If we force him to go down, he has to deal with the enemy tanks, or our tanks down there. Oh, he just got the Covenanter. Well, he is the right sort of tank to do that. Basically a Hellcat with a 76mm gun. In fact, it does surprise me why quite a few people ignore the Hellcat with the 76mm. It is actually quite fast firing. In fact, it's got a better XP than, better damage than, or it's got a better DPM than the 90mm. Okay, he needs to deal with that BDR now. It should only take him about 6 shots at most. I think maybe 7. Here we go. He's going to lock on and just blast this guy. Just keep pumping those rounds in. Actually, it's only going to take him 3 shots. And he's got him. Now, they've got to watch out for a second because they need to go unspotted so the ARMT and the bathtub can't shoot them. Yeah, in fact, the bathtub's still trying to shoot our teammate in the AMX 12-ton. Okay, we're going to go back up. Still got to deal with that M6, though. One of the drawbacks of all that armour is this is a really heavy tank. 44 tons. That's about the same weight as a heavy tank. Means the top speed is only 20 kilometers an hour. You can't go faster than this thing. It also doesn't traverse very quickly either. Only 20 degrees per second. Okay, the M6 is down here. They managed to deal with the KV-2. Just need to get rid of that M6. Should be able to get it. Hello, Mr. M6. That's one. See if he backs up. Yes, nicely done. So that's 4 kills now for Dealer. I would have actually gone around the ground way, not up here. Mainly because, of course, the ARMT and the bathtub are the last 2 left alive, and you probably want to approach them from a direction where there's lots and lots of buildings in the way so they can't see you coming. The most amazing thing so far in this game is that he hasn't lost any hit points. But then I did say it does have a lot of armour, and you can see that the enemy's been trying to hit him. In fact, they've been going for the mantlet. They should have been going for that cupola. It is the weak spot, or at least you could go for the rear of the vehicle. Of course, if you do come across a tank that you really can't penetrate, or that has the ability to penetrate you, just back up against the wall and try and then turn on them to get your gun to face. Now, the bathtub probably does have the 90mm gun. I would expect it. And the ARMT, well, that is a premium. And he just killed our AMX 12-ton. So now it's 3 versus 2. So we do know that the ARMT is over in this direction. And I expect we're going to be receiving a few rounds from him very shortly. But I think they're probably going to have to fire the APCR. Now, don't show your side. Oh, he's actually going to go. He's sneaky. He's going to go into the cap and force them to come to him. That's smart. that means they have to come in, and he can turn and look. Of course, he needs to go around the corner if he's going to get sight of them. Other than that, it'll be the proximity detect. The T-34 is going to give us warning if they do cross the gap, because of course he's watching in that general direction. The guy up in the hills, he's not being any help at all. The IKV-103. Oh, and there's the bathtub. Whilst I was looking the other way, he managed to sneak up. And we can see that he does have the 90mm, except he's hit our tracks on the second shot, and he blocked the shot on the first. Okay, now try and take us. The ARMT's gonna have to come down. The S35 may have got a reset with his shots. At least I think he did, didn't he? No, he didn't actually. Oh, but there he is. That was a very sneaky move by him. And now he's out the game. Okay, now can they hit us from that angle? Only in the tracks. We probably need to pull back just a tad. Just a bit. Ooh, now this is a move. He's actually decided to go so he can actually put that building in the way. Just the other side of the cap area. Oh, there's the ARMT. He went up into the hills. And the IKV found him. So actually he did have a reason to be up there. But I think he's about to die. Yes, he did die. And that's it. We've capped out. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for dealer of MRALM in the AT2. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually ended up with 5, one short of getting a top gun and 1/3 of the enemy team. He got a shell proof for blocking more damage, exceeding the hit points of his own vehicle, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, and he got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6. He also managed to get a cool headed for blocking or surviving at least 10 ricochets and non-penetrating shots in a row from the enemy, as well as an invader for getting at least 80 capture points and winning by cap, and a steel wall for surviving the battle, having received at least 11 hits from the enemy and over 1,000 hit points of damage blocked. And yes, he certainly did that. It has to be at least 11 hits. Yeah, the win rate from the game, 11,380. That is super unicum and quite a bit more. Now, I can understand why they decided to end the game where they did and they capped out. Mainly down to the fact that I think that ARMT could have probably gotten away anyway, and I don't think that dealer would have been able to catch up with him. He's only got a top speed of 20 kilometers an hour. The ARMT can do much better than that, and so he wouldn't be able to get the top gun simply because the ARMT was up in the hills. And so at least we found out where he was. He wouldn't have come back to the cap, and if he had come back to the cap, he probably knows that he would have been playing hide and seek with us whilst we shot at him from the cap area. So, yeah, it's a pity that the ARMT didn't try to get a reset and pick up a defender medal. But in the end, it turned out that ending the game where it was probably the right move. Anyway, let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in that game actually went to the M6. He got a high caliber for the enemy team on 3,771 hit points. Second highest damage went to dealer with 2,183. And the third highest damage, well, that went to the AMX 12 ton, who managed 1,366 hit points. When it came to kills, we can see the highest score on this time was dealer, who got 5. 4 kills went to the M6 and the ARMT on the enemy team, and 3 kills went to the AMX 12 ton, the T52 on our team, and on the enemy team, only their Type 64 managed 3 kills. When it came to base XP, he's got that one. Yes, 1,119. He's the only player to get over 1,000 base in the game. The next highest being the M6, who got 949, followed by the MX1210, who got 739. So he got 2 out of 3 on the scores and got the second place when it came to damage. He fired 54 rounds. Now, this tank carries 115 rounds with a 6-pounder ammunition, so he had plenty to spare. 39 direct hits on the enemy, and 30 of those were penetrations. 2,183 hit points of damage, of which 790 were at more than 300 meters. He received 11 hits, and none of them penetrated. They all hit the armor, and they were blocked. 1,135 hit points of block damage. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed, and he got 109 hit points of damage assistance and 87 capture points while he was in the cap. On a premium account, he actually earned a profit of 11,211 credits. He also got 30 bonds for a mission achievement and 3,357 experience points out of the game as well. So a nice little game with a nice little ace tanker. It's a pity that we couldn't get that last enemy, but it's just impossible. He couldn't chase them. He wouldn't have been able to get the top gun unless it was a miracle shot at long range. And I don't think the ARMT was going to be obliging. Although I think a lot of players in the ARMT probably would have been thinking to themselves, well, maybe if I just snipe from a little further out, maybe I can get a reset which might actually give me a Defender medal. But he decided he wasn't going to do that, which is more the pity, because it's actually quite a bit of kudos getting a Defender medal and then surviving the game. Well, I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, makes him go nom nom. And thank you for watching.